scars that aren't mine. After midnight, monsters crawl, screaming, silence fills the walls, shadows twisting in my head. Wish the darkness left me dead. After midnight, eyes go red, broken voices in my bed. I can't run, I can't hide, all my demons stay inside. Windows rattle, nerves ignite, wasted hours kill the light. Lips are bitten, thoughts decay. Pray for sleep, it slips away. Dreams are haunted, can't escape. Another promise I will make. Mirror shows a stranger's face, lost in time.
Hello.
After midnight, monsters crawl, screaming, silence fills the walls, shadows twisting in my head. Wish the darkness left me dead. After midnight, eyes go red, broken voices in my bed. I can't run, I can't hide, all my demons stay inside. I'm not scared, just tired and numb. If morning comes, I won't succumb. Another night, another fight, burn my hope beneath the light. After midnight, monsters crawl, screaming, silence fills.
Sorry if I'm a little low key today. I am tired. Like brain fog tired. Starting off with a bit of a detail wash. Hope everybody had a good weekend. No, thank you for the follow. How you doing? Hey, Davos. Yeah, my head feels like it's full of cotton candy right now, so good thing this is going to be a very low thought, low energy stream today. Hope Monday's getting off to a decent start for you and ending on a decent note as well. Yeah, we're just starting out with a detail wash. Some people call it a pin wash. It is what it is, you know. And this is just to pop the details a bit more before I do the weathering. Because after this I gotta remove the excess. We'll paint in the blinkers and reflectors and stuff after we dull coat it, and then we'll get into applying a mist of dust on the lower hull before we go applying the dirt texture. Hey, Major Havoc. It's going okay. Just feeling a little dead in the head today. And we're just doing the wash with a mix of black and burnt umber. The replacement wheels for the fuel truck did print out well, though. Finally got a front set that I like. Not really. I have a lot of trouble sleeping as it is. More so when I have to wake up to an alarm, but yesterday and today I didn't. So because of that I tend to sleep in later than I like, because if I have an alarm set, sorry, got itchies. I tend to wake up multiple times in the night thinking I've slept through the alarm. Whereas if I don't have one set, I wind up waking up less because of that. Right? But that's just the way my brain works, you know. But no, I wasn't waking myself up with noxious emanations, so there is at least that. I'm glad you all are here, though. I wonder if we can make this Monday like last Tuesday and have it be more active than usual. We'll see. Oh, quick question. Before you guys subbed or were gift subbed, were you seeing regular ads on my channel? Or no? And if you were, how frequently? Interesting. Because I was looking at my overall, stats, and I was noticing 0 ad revenue. I'm like, wait a minute. I should be getting something even from singular lurkers here, so what the hell's going on? Well, I've been noticing that too. It's almost like their ad system's broken, because I'm not subbed to like the Running Man's, and I'll sit on his stream all the time just for background noise, and I don't see ads. And I'm not running an ad blocker on Twitch because I know that's how a lot of us get some cash from it, Is it because I'm multi-streaming maybe? So that way it can't do it because ads on Twitch aren't ads on YouTube? And now that everybody's doing it, it's happening all over the place. Interesting. Okay. Because I know that's the reason why most people sub to channels they like, isn't so much that it helps the streamer, but it gets rid of the ads. So they can watch uninterrupted. That's kind of what I figured, Fenrir, that it probably wasn't the case. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell's going on, because it seems like every time we turn around they're changing a setting that kind of screws us. And how's Fenrir? Now, a little funny thing on this model. Most people would paint the tools. Well, I just went through and restarted them. That's why I was wondering. They weren't shut off, but I went through and kind of clicked a few things just to kind of wake it back up. Because I was seeing dead zeros is why. And that shouldn't be the case regardless of... Because I know I've got one or two people that lurk that would have seen at least one ad in the limited time that they're here, which would have counted towards at least even a penny, you know? And I'm not seeing it. I'm guessing Aries must be in meetings or something. Well, here's the question though. Is she at least enjoying it? Then the tired is worth it, you know? I just found it interesting. I was just coming up straight up snake eyes on it. I'm like, wait a minute, that ain't right. even for all the people that might come by and watch afterward, they're still going to get an ad. So why am I not? I think so too. The honeymoon period is over. He is now fully engrossed at his job and must perform.
before the starting line. You tried to
Okay, I'm not going to do anything down here because that's going to get lathered in its own crap anyway. Mainly for up here.
say goodnight. You lost before you touched the
I think as long as you guys are supportive as you have been, and she sees the positive side to it, you won't have a problem. Usually, like an example, I know I'm not a young child. Well, sometimes I can act like one. Usually when someone loses interest in something like that, especially on a kid, it's because there's something within it that has put them off. It's not so much their love or ambition of the hobby is gone, but there's something inside it that's just put them off wanting to do it. And kind of like how I don't go to the club anymore because there's certain individuals in it that I don't think should be allowed to be there because they're manipulative, they prey upon people, and they've shown a history of it, and they're still allowed to come there even knowing they have essentially what's tantamount to a criminal record. That's why I don't go. So, as long as she's not being teased, the coaches are supportive, and she sees a positive vibe to it, then she's going to be in it. There you go. See? And that's what it is. She has to see and be appreciative of her own accomplishments. But you're talking to somebody who's, you know, I'm an empty nester now. Didn't think I'd ever be fucking saying that, but there we are. But that's what I noticed with Mason, is that the things he liked to do were the things he felt he accomplished. And he stopped liking it when there was something within the group or the thing that canceled or countered that. She'll get better. She'll heal up and be right back where she was. Yeah, I've had to talk to people before because, you know, people at work know about my back issue. And they try and do things. I'm like, you know, you don't have to do that. I know I'm broken. I can still do the work, You don't have to take every job from me that requires heavy lifting. You know, they sounds like they don't try and do that to her. They let her try, which is good. I had to hand paint the S4 markings because I couldn't find decals. That goes with any hobby, though. The moment you get someone telling you you're wrong, you don't want to engage with it anymore. And I really wish that we could police that a bit more. But we can't. Hey Alex, how you doing? Missed you yesterday. But I hope you had a nice, quiet day off. But you see, that was her pushing herself, which is good. I would be wary of a coach that would push her like that, you know? But if it's coming from her, that's perfectly fine. It means she wants to do it. Kind of like how there's days that other people feel like shit but still want to try and do their hobby and just not do anything with it. You know? I totally get that. It's like you feel like crap, you want to sit down, you want to sketch or paint or doodle or sculpt or whatever it is. You know, the brain is willing, but the body's saying you need to rest. Hey Kenneth. It happens to everybody. I'm really happy with how this one's turning out. Yeah. Is that when she had her flu, or just in general she was just that pooped? Well, yeah, of course she's going to push herself harder. Is that the one Aries went to as well a couple weeks ago? It happens. Okay. Yeah, my son never got into stuff like that. He just did like he's into like esports, so he did that in high school, and he did a couple tournaments. Got his hat signed by um, like the CEO of Nintendo when they came here. You know, stuff like that. But now he's in the college level teams. He did get rusty though because the game of choice is Smash Brothers, and after high school he stopped playing it because none of his other friends are playing it, and he concentrated on Fortnite and junk games like that, where it's just button mash, button mash. Surprisingly enough, there is a certain amount of strategy to Smash Brothers. Exactly. And we never told him no, he couldn't do it. We, tried to support him as best we can. But we had to get him past his, this is common with kids like him. They tend to not understand when things stop working and then make it worse because they get angry at it. So we really had to work on his broken controller issue. And it ultimately came down to, well, you broke it, we aren't replacing it, so you're missing out on the tournament. Yeah, and he had to learn to understand that at that point because he was becoming, he's getting older, becoming a older teen, adult, borderline kind of case, and we're like, nah, we're not playing this game anymore. So he broke it. He had to replace it, and he learned real fast to take better care of his stuff. Or at least put it down properly, and like when you turn the game on, calibrate it right, stuff like that. Because every week it seemed, oh, I need a new controller, this one has stick drift. It was like the little girl from Signs. Contaminated, contaminated. It's like, no, no, no. It's like the only common denominator between all this is the user, so you need to start taking better care. Kind of like in model building, you get one reviewer that starts saying every other kit that he builds has fit problems. It's like, wait a minute. No way, that many kits on the market could be that bad. What are you not doing right? There's some stuff I missed, but I went over some pictures. Hey, Davos. Yeah, some people just have a hard time. I get that, but people doing it at a more professional level really got to watch their P's and Q's on that stuff. I really like how this turned out. I will be adding camo netting to this, but not like the LAV or anything. It's just going to be a little bit along here and some on the barrel, so it's going to be more artistically placed, I guess you could say. Not to sound pretentious. Such bad luck, much kits. He's 19 right now. He'll be 20 next month. Don't have too much fun, Fenrir. And remember, just bring a sketch pad with you, so even if you're not supposed to be taking notes, you can look like you're busy. Sorry, hands tight. But last night I went through and I adapted the axles on the fuel truck as well. I want to try and be on for at least my usual 3 hours today. Might be harder than I think. So the tire's printed with a certain size hole in the back, and I just had to put on the kit tires real quick and measure out how far the tires needed to be. And then that way these lined up perfectly. And I had some styrene tube that was the right outside and inside diameter. I just used it as a bushing sleeve. Bang. So we're gonna have... Come on, autofocus. Too bright, too much light. We're gonna have some nice printed tires on this. Yes, yes. Make sure your headset is properly plugged in before reading the message from coworker. Hey Aries, you're coming in right as Fenrir's leaving. It's like the sheepdogs, you know, changing shift. So I'm doing this one slightly differently on removing the wash. I don't want to be as aggressive with it. I feel like on the LAV I removed too much. No worries. Do me a favor, grab an orange tango. I could really go for an orange tango. The only place that has it around here is about 40 minutes away, and I really don't feel like driving anywhere right now. So I'm just using a brush with thinner on it to kind of blend away the oil wash excess. Give it a more feathered look. I'm just dicking around trying out a new style, really. New to me style, or something I haven't done since I was a kid. Either way. It's basically their version of... It's a soda, but it's orange flavored. It's not like Fanta. You don't remember Tango from when we lived in the UK, Aries? Yeah, I don't think this is going to work out too well for me. We might be switching back to the old Q-tip method. I don't like how this is working. Let me try one other thing first. A wider brush. This might work out okay. The reason I'm doing it this way, for me anyway, is you can see how it's kind of leaving... Come on... The focus does not want to work with me today. It's like the exposure went up higher. There we go. But you see how it's kind of leaving that light streak underneath everything, like a little bit of grease or oil? That's what I'm kind of trying to get. I've seen that too. Saw another video of somebody taking a Hemet through a water puddle. Or not a puddle, but a very large patch of relatively deep water for fording training. It kicked it up so hard and so fast it blew in the front windshields into the passenger compartment. So maybe the broader brush is what we need. I was using too small of a brush to do it, I think. But this is mainly for picking out the base details and just kind of getting a groundwork in. This isn't for anything in particular, like some extreme thing. It's really just to pop the details a bit better. If I can get some subtle streakies, I get some subtle streakies. I'm not too worried about streakies right now, though. The other reason I wanted to use the brush, though, is you see the panel lines here. They are so subtle on their engraving that a Q-tip would clean them out, trying to press down to get it out. The brush just allows me to kind of skate over the surface and leave a little bit more wash in there than a Q-tip would have allowed. But for that, you also have to be very mindful of how wet your brush is, too. You can't have it fully loaded, sopping wet. It's got to be generally pretty dry. Just enough thinner to pop the surface paint off, not anything more. Why did I just dump that in the water? Because I'm dumb. Exactly. So when this dries, it'll be less obvious. You can already kind of see how it's happening. The pre-shading and the fading helped yesterday too. The pre-shading helps sell the idea of oil-stained paint. Like the reason why it's darker is because all these hinges and panel lines have oil or grease in them that's soaking into the paint. And it also helps pop a shadow as well. It's like you may not notice it, but your brain did kind of thing. To quote Red Letter Media. Yeah, we're going to do a flat coat varnish on it. Paint in the taillights, finish the headlights. Once that's ready, we'll start with the dirtying process. I'm going to try to avoid the sand wash as much as I can. If I do use it, it'll most likely be on just the very upper surfaces to resemble the much lighter tone of the grit and stuff that gets carried up there by people's shoes. But I want to kind of keep this in the flat earth, European mud, and oiled earth range of tone. I want to keep it more brown, less sandy. Sand just really helps to sell the desert vehicles, where this is not that case. If I had the Arabian markings on it, then I'd go for that. So there's a good chance once we get past the earth tone phase with the acrylics, we might be mixing up another round of oils for that final dust and grime pass. Simply because I don't have that in acrylic. Oh, shit. Really? Come here. Damn it. I'll have to fish that out later. Oh, they could still have that lighter, sandy, dusty coating. It just depends on where they were. Like, if they did a lot of time in the urban areas, especially after a lot of the more intense conflict, the ground-up concrete would give them that. But I'm not going for that look on this one. I know what you meant. And you see me cleaning the brush out a lot because I'm trying to get a lot of the excess oil paint off the bristles as I clean it up. I think I went a little heavy on this one. The hull not so much, but the turret I did. I'm reminded of an initial production M1 that somebody made for Fine Scale Modeler years and years and years ago. He used the Tamiya kit, and it turned out amazing, but he made it appear dirty and clean at the same time, and that's kind of what I want to go for on this. It was like just enough dirty to educate you that it had been driving on the pre-made trails of the training course, but not enough that there was mud all over it. And I want to try and get that balance with this one, because most of the ones I'd seen in the Bosnian conflict looked like that. They were dusty, they were grimy, but they weren't I played in 6-foot deep mud all day dirty. And I think that's the difference. A lot of people try and get their vehicles just way too screwed up. Like, I feel I went a little overboard on the LAV, but not too much. Because when you're training, you train to break it. You know, at least not on purpose, but you train for the worst case. When it comes to like this kind of stuff, they make you get stuck, so that way the other crews can train what it's like to get the vehicle out under certain circumstances. Whereas when you're actually using it, you treat them with kid gloves until the metal starts flying. At least that's the way they like you to do it. I'm sure there's somebody out there in the audience that'll go, well, I was in the army for 20 years and we did it like, I'm like, yeah, I get it, that's how you did it. That's not how everybody does it. And to be honest, the army then is not the army now. I didn't realize just how much stuff I missed on this turret when I did the paintwork on it. Was I blind yesterday when I painted this? Good lord. Whoop, 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 whoop. And I missed painting the underside of the barrel. Looks like I missed painting around some of the basket surfaces here. I mean, what the hell? Hey, did you get me that orange tango I asked for? Or did you just get yourself an arm brew? we go. I think I'm about to do something that many are going to take as stupid, but I think it's a little bit necessary. We're going to take our already lightened color. There you go. Well, wait, why are you filtering your milk? Ow! We're just going to do a quick dry brush pass to pop the welds and some of the taller details on the vehicle. Come on! Ow! If I can get it open. I need my pliers. The pliers don't want to fit. There we go. Aha! But actually, before I do this task, let's dull coat it, because we are at that point. My hands are really hurting today. We had a weather system come through last night. Holy crap. It rained all night. Stopped at about 5 this morning. No, I thought there was yet another thing wrong with the milk they're trying to keep us from drinking. Yeah, I really... It wasn't like angry weather, I just know it rained all night. Apparently I slept through the thunderstorm that hit here Friday night, which is very unusual. Usually I don't. But then again, I usually sleep better during the storms. Which I kinda did last night. But I still feel just bleh. For lack of a better term, just bleh. Yeah, I definitely don't want hail through here, that's for sure. Even though we did have tornadoes in southern Utah on Friday or Saturday. Which, you know, tornadoes aren't totally uncommon here, but tornadoes that destroy 3 houses are uncommon. Especially when they destroy 3 houses down in one of the more unpopulated regions of the state. So it's like, it was around long enough and moved far enough that it was able to find 3 houses down there. Ah, my face! Episode 7's not till tomorrow night. Just spraying air over it now to try and see where else needs dull coat still. Okay. Okay. Did everybody have a pretty good trouble-free weekend, though? I know Ares didn't. He's always getting into trouble. my garbage can further away. Hi, Frankie. Frankie's passed out on the couch. Allie's asleep in her little bed. She's in her donut. Oh, she's not asleep now, though. She's looking at me. Pop the gain back up a little bit on this. Getting rid of tension is never a bad thing, as long as you do it responsibly. I'm going to go back with the color we used to do fading yesterday. And just do a little bit of very light dry brushing just to pop the details back on the upper surfaces. I just have to find the right brush to do it. Let's try this bugger. Like, my job's not bad in terms of, like, tasks that I have to do. You know, the boss is good, fellow employees are good. But is it me, or are people just getting meaner and nastier all the time? I'm just doing this to kind of clean it and tighten it up where the wash didn't remove as cleanly as I'd like. And it's better if it's done over a flat finish, so that way the rougher tooth of the paint grabs the paint on your brush a bit easier. If you try to do this over a gloss, the edges would get picked up, but not the surface. You see, I don't agree with that, because when you're dealing with things of that nature, text removes certain context clues that a lot of people might need to do that kind of job. At least that's the way I see it. Whereas if you're talking to the person, you can hear if they're agitated or not. You know, you can get a better understanding of where they are. Well, the one thing you got to remember is HR doesn't care about you. They don't care about the other person that you've got the grievance with. All they care about is the best interest of the company. I just hope that whatever's going on with that gets resolved satisfactorily. And that you don't have to make the same decision I did. Because it sucks starting over when you're this old. Especially when you've already had enough time at the other job that's more time than any other job you've had in your life. So, yeah. So I don't wish that upon anybody. I know it's necessary at times, but I don't wish that on anyone, having to restart over again like that. Sometimes it can be good. Most times it's probably not. Oh, did you already go looking for something new? I'm sorry. Alright, now we're gonna kick it up just another little bit higher. Lighter color. We're just gonna try and... I almost want to say pluck details, but not too much. Gotcha. Unfortunately, that has a familiar ring to it now. I'm sure with the experience you've got, though, you'll be all right and land on your feet like I did. I think I was able to do it because it wasn't the first time I've had to essentially restart, right? Because I had 2 enlistments in the military. I know what it's like to go from having an exquisitely precise daily routine to having nothing and starting over again. Especially since I had a break in service. So are you already re-employed, or are you still hunting and just kind of biding your time there until you get something? That works just enough of a lighter tone to pluck out the higher details, but not change the surface color too much. There. Did I not do the... I didn't do the turret. There you go. At least you've got that kind of, you know, coverage. It sucks that you have to do it, but at the same time, I'm glad you're getting out now and not letting it, you know, get to you like I did. Yee. Oh well, I can reglue that. Well, at least you had the benefit of an HR department, even if it didn't work out in your favor. I didn't even have that. Yeah. I think I need a slightly softer brush for this, to be honest. I'll hit that one up with lacquer thinner in a bit. There we are. Who's climbing up my chair? Is that Allie? Is that our little monster? That is the monster. And she's on the table. And what can we do for you, girl, huh? As long as you stay there, you're okay. Just don't get in front of me, okay? I'll have to put you on the floor if you get in front of me, girl. There we go. Wait. No. I remembered the oils are over there. I didn't want her laying in them. There you go. Let me get the silver out. We're going to start plucking out the turn signals and reflectors. This is going to need a lot more shaking up. Where did it go? Well, sometimes you gotta stir them, but then you gotta shake them too. Just need to bring a picture up of the headlights because I don't know exactly what goes where. I've already got the back of the headlight lenses chromed. It's the turn signals that I'm kinda on. Of course, the armored covers are down. Alright. So there's a clear lens that goes on these two, and then the bigger ones back here. But on these, that one's silver. That one's clear orange. But for the clear orange to work, I need to have the silver underneath it. Then along the sides, there's reflectors. And those all need a clear silver dot in the middle for the clear orange that goes over them. Some of these might wind up getting covered with dirt. I don't know, since that's totally random as far as how I do it. So I like to have the suggestion of the color and detail there before I do it, so if I don't get dirt on it, even better. And if you're following on YouTube or watching on YouTube, please remember to hit the like button. It does help a ton and gets more notice. Okay, now the taillights. Of course, they're already dirty. It's like orange outer, red inner. Okay. And a red lower. Then I think these are reflectors. They're not on the one that I'm looking at, but these will also be a red reflector. Let's get some music going again. And once I get these painted, I'm going to take my stretch break. I notice I'm behind on that today. I appreciate that. I think you, Alex, and Model Student are the only ones that regularly like when the stream goes up. And that's not just e-begging anymore either. That's literally how YouTube has restructured their site to work, so it's almost mandatory. If you want the person that you're following to have any kind of beneficial progress. Alright, so let me take 5, move around a little bit, and I'll be right back. Because it's already been an hour, it's almost been 2 hours, good lord. I know, I appreciate it. Alright, I'm back. I didn't realize I was that low on clear orange. Holy crap. Good thing I didn't. Good thing I don't really use it that much. Well, must have used it for something to be that low on it. Oh, that's right. It was the Cyberpunk motorcycle that I did years ago. But hey, I was able to sell it for a pretty penny, so that helps. God, I hope I didn't just get those backwards. I did not. Yay for me. There. Now the next step, I'm going to use this fugly brush, and we're going to apply the earth texture to the inside of the wheel wells, because I know it's always going to be there regardless of how heavily weathered the vehicle gets. This surface at least, and then the corresponding arch area outside is going to get some dirt and mud thrown at it. But at least this surface here needs to get some form of texture on it. And that's where this wonderful stuff comes in. European Mud by Vallejo. Obligatory I got a jar of dirt joke here. And it's already pretty crunchy and lumpy texture-wise, so you just apply it with the brush, let it dry. It dries relatively transparent. Like I said, it is more of just applying a texture than it is recoloring the model. The dust and everything will catch up with the airbrush on the lower edges here. Right now I'm just worried about the stuff that your eye is going to read. And getting the dirt and mud idea set. Used to be I would mix different Tamiya paints with wall spackling, which you can still do, believe it or not. You just gotta watch your ratios and know what you're mixing. But you mix the Tamiya paint with wall spackling, and you can also use that as a mud effect if you stipple it on just right. That also has the benefit of you can thin it with water. You can thin this with water too. But it's more of a thicker matte acrylic medium that you can mess with than anything else. I know it sounds weird, wall spackling. It works. Okay. And you see how I'm kind of bringing just the edge up a little bit here? This is where mud would be thrown regardless of how much or how little it gets in. I've seen examples where this whole panel is just solid with mud back here. And it all depends on how much or how little you want. I'm starting restrained on this one, because I really don't want it to be like just totally mucked up. I'm applying a little more on the back side of the wheel wells for the front tires here. It looks like this might actually have four-wheel steering, but at least the front two are usually used most of the time. Hi, Arnie. Beating me with your ears down there. And also here, through here, there. And my foot just got sneezed on by a 19-year-old cat. Great. But I've seen people use strictly just this stuff as they're trying to work the groundwork in on the hull of the vehicle. And the one issue you really run into with it, especially when you're using just a singular color medium, is it's a bit too monochrome. And it can be a bit too uniform. while that's not really wrong, fresh mud, like overall fresh mud, would do that. But that's not the look I'm going for. I'm looking for something like it's been through the puddle, it's dried, it's driven through another puddle and dust, that's dried, and then there might still, there might still be some wet here and there on it. And the wet will tend to be darker than the fresh. Or than the dried, sorry. Mixing my terms up there. Yeah, that was Arnie. He was under the desk cleaning, and he decided to sneeze on my shin and my foot. Back to my pictures. Let's bring it up a little bit more. Not like complete coverage, because like I said, we'll be misting this with the airbrush too. But just enough to add some clunky chunkies up there, which then when you mist over it with the dusting will look a bit more appropriate. You could use the old fling technique for this. I think that would allow me to overdo it a bit too quickly. Whereas this is letting me see it per dab. Yeah, there we go. So we're going to let that dry for a bit, because this stuff takes a minute. Actually, let's try something else. We're really working with the junky brushes today, ain't we? Yes, mud. This is the stuff I'm using to do it. And of course, wrong button. We're going to try thinning out some. Because I've noticed it likes to collect on the inside of the tire here, but then it usually flecks off here as the rubber, you know, gets moved around while it's rolling down the road. So I want to show the texture buildup here, and then we can dust the tire with the airbrush later. And kind of work it into the tread and the track. Probably won't see much of the inside of the tire, but it never hurts to have it there. Yeah, that's primarily the reason I don't go for anything OK or AK or MiG is I really don't think they're intuitive for hobby use. Please don't roll anywhere. Actually, I know what I can do. I can lean you up around this. Again, we're not going for total coverage, we're just going for texture application. Because that will get covered over again later. Just going through my pictures just to see variations of this. Yeah. Not too far off. Okay. And the good thing is not much sticks to this trumpeter rubber very well, so if I had to clean them off, I can. Yeah. Today we did the detail wash, some dry brushing, and the initial mud. We'll probably get as far as doing the dusting. And hopefully work on the fuel truck a little bit. At least I'd like to. I did a little work offline last night, just making sure the printed wheels were adapted and sat right compared to the kit tires. So I had to put the kit tires on loose, then see where they sat, and then adjust the depth of the axles so the other ones would sit right as well. And then put a plastic rod or plastic tube bushing on the axle so it would fit. Basically, I did that. But after today, we're probably going to take a break on the Centauro until the crew arrives next week. Fennec is on indefinite hold right now. I've lost so much interest in it, it's ridiculous. I don't know why. It just feels like nothing went wrong, but I can look at it and see all the areas I kind of pushed too hard. So I'm kind of letting it sit and get out of my head so that way I can come back and look at it fresh in a month or two. Finish it up then. Sometimes you have a model that does that. And I'll show you here in a second how this stuff dries where it's not totally opaque, which kind of works in its benefit for layering. Because I could grab some of the darker mud that I've got and go in and put it in the cracks and corners, but I don't want to do that. I want this to be the deepest color. Darker mud is more of a Russian steppe, you know, further east thing. I mean, you can have all different kinds of soils everywhere. Like, people normally tend to think Vietnam equals red clay, which is why you wind up with everything looking like it came off a baseball field in model building world there. And that's not wrong in that there are many places that were like that. Quezon, you know, other things. But there's also a lot of areas in Vietnam where the soil is this color. It rained all night last night, but it's clear here now. Yours is probably what's going to hit us here in the next week. Are you Eastern or Western Canada? But I'm also at 5,000 feet, so there's places here that have got snow already, which isn't uncommon. The higher elevations have gotten snow. Yeah, Bosnian mud, from what I can tell, was more this color. But here's how this stuff dries, more or less. It's a lot thinner, and like I said, I'm using it more just to leave the texture in the center of the tire, so I can simulate the rubbed off area on the outside edge. You know, get that grayed out, dusty look there. And then once this is dry and I can hold it from the center, I might work some of the mud into the tire texture after I dry brush it with a lighter sand color. Yeah, overall, Bosnian mud was more this color. Obviously, depending on the light angle and all that kind of crap, but overall, yeah. And the one Centauro does show dusting, but not... Oh, really? Camera, you're gonna be like that? I want mine a hair bit muddier than that. Okay, get this out of the way. God knows why today again. Ugh. Okay, so you're on the East Coast. What's going on now? Work being weird. Yeah, I'm more West Coast. Let's get the headlights in, get their brush guards on, and then after that we'll be able to do the dusting with no worries. Where's my gloss coat? There it is. I learned long ago when you're gluing small clear... Ew, that's too much. Small clear parts like this, don't bother with the glue, don't bother with canopy cement or anything goofy special like that. A little bit of clear coat. The paint's thick enough that it will act as a glue, but dry thin enough that it won't be all lumpy. Got a little too much on the brush. There. Well, when I move in 27, I'll be about an hour, hour and a half tops from the Canuckian border. And if things work out the right way, I expect a lot of trips to the Evergreen Military Museum will happen. Or the Evergreen Aviation Museum. I was up there back in 23, and I was astounded. Because you think of PBY Catalina, you think that's, that's a decent sized little plane right there, right? Especially for one that can land on water. Until you see the fact that they've got one parked under the tail of the spruce goose there. And then you realize we're not alone in this universe. Oh wait, no, wrong. Yeah, as much as I would like to comment on the eventuality of that happening, I'm trying to not get too political. We can talk about political type stuff, but I try not to take a side, if that makes sense. So, should I mist the lower hull with Flat Earth? Just to try and dust it a bit? And just get it all in there? Or use the oiled earth wash? I'm thinking mist it first just to get that dusty effect. And I still got to do the brush guards over the headlights. I need to see how one of those looks, because the instructions ain't too keen on telling me what to do with that. Okay. Okay, I get it now. I've got 16 followers on Kick now. Excellent. Yeah, there's only one current event I don't really want to talk about right now because it's still too hot button. So we won't discuss it. And what's more to discuss, now it's all conjecture and the same things being reported, which is actually just becoming noise and not helping anybody at all. Let's see if I can make these headlight shrouds work. Kick is an alternative streaming service to Twitch and YouTube. I'm on all three. It also has means to help other people support creators. You can subscribe there or donate. My wish list is there too. Stuff like that. It's all up to you guys. Nothing forced. But Twitch might be going bye-bye soonish, I think. Mainly because they're not profitable. Yep, signing up is free on Kick and Twitch. Following is free. Following there is the same as a sub on YouTube. But again, it's all up to you guys. Hey, Jaeger's here. Hello, Jaeger. I would like to try and paint these headlight guards on the model, but they may not even allow me to complete them. Come here, you. Yeah, this is the fun part of scale modeling these days. Photo etch parts. They're brass. And they're bendy. And they're cancer. If I could find one example of a Centauro running without them, I'd leave them off. Yeah, there's no other way to replicate the detail that I'm doing without these, though. How hard will they be to paint once they're in place? You know what? I'm just gonna throw them on and paint them as best I can. Where did I put my clear? There. And again, with pieces this small, just use clear gloss. Yeah, that's just asking for punishment, and in the immortal words of Invader Zim to Gur, when he emptied out his fuel, why would you do that? And I don't care if you're making room for the tuna. And my brush just rolled onto the floor. We'll put you on this one. Because I'm a glutton for punishment. Yeah, that just got messy, but now you see why I use the clear gloss to attach it and not super glue. No, just saying hi. I noticed you had joined. We're working on annoying photo etch parts before we get into the weathering and the wear on this. But after we get these headlight things on, we might take a break and work on the fuel truck. How you been? Yeah, I gotta stop dropping crap. But that's the name of the game as well when it comes to photo etch. The more you drop, the better it is. No, you see, I consider myself to be no slouch when it comes to photo etch. And even I would look at that and go, no. BG3. Refresh my memory on what BG3 is. Oh, Baldur's Gate. Gotcha. Anyway. I swear I'm not a crayon eater. Hey, I guessed it right before you or Ares could correct me on what it is. And if you guys are on Twitch and you ain't following Jaeger, or YouTube, or... Are you on Kick too, Jaeger? I forget. You're like me, you're on all three, I think. But yeah, if you guys ain't following him, give him a drop, give him a follow. Please. He's a good guy, his streams can get up to some insane stuff too. More so than mine. I dare say mine was rather droll compared to his. Okay. Get that on there. And these will not be remaining brass. They're going to be getting painted the same green as the hull, if I can get it off the tweezers and onto the model. But that'll be after they dry. Which one of these just broke loose on me so I can re-glue it? There we go. I swear that's not the 10th time I've re-glued that thing on the side. Well, like... And here's a neat little thing. There's even some model companies that have done that. In the search for having the sharpest, neatest detail, AFV Club actually screwed up their 251 half-track series. Because, the 251 half-track has a tread plate on the floor, like a diamond plate. Now, anybody who's seen diamond plate knows that it's actually rounded. It's not hard. You know, it's not hard-edged. AFV Club did it as a hard-edged detail surface, where Dragon actually made it more rounded, more like the real thing would be. which I thought was funny as hell because other than that, the AFE Club kit's better. Because Dragon just got stupid on the tiny details. Okay. Maybe one of these days I will acquire another AFV Club 251 half track with the searchlight. But not today. Even though I have to say the TACOM M274, 247, the Sergeant York is looking kind of tasty. I'm being very thoughtful of what I spend my money on right now, but you all know what I'm saving for, too. We are 1/10 of the way there, though. So, whee! I know there's people out there who laugh and think it's a stupid idea and all that, but they look at it differently from me. Because the main thing is, around the time I get it, may also be a time in life that I can actually start doing things a bit more differently. Well, no, some of them, their comments are valid from where they are, you know, because I get it. Those who have had to ride in them and use them more frequently than I have, and in much more chaotic situations, have a much different outlook on why they would own one and why they won't. I totally get that. At the same time, I know I've said it on stream before, it's been a dream since I first saw one, so. You say they shake, I say, ooh, great, my back won't hurt when I'm driving it. And I am actually in a unique position where parts won't be as expensive as the normal person, as long as I can get a valid part number. And I can't find my cork brown to save my ass, and I really need it. Nice shot? What? Oh. Alright, let me get my paints back out here. I have to find my cork brown. Dark earth would be good. Or flat earth would be good. That's too dark, I think. But I know I got cork brown around here somewhere. Every time I need it, I can't find it. Every time I don't need it, it's sitting right there going, hi! That is not it. Yeah, I don't know why, but some people seem amazed at my ability to build models. Ah, there it is. Perfect. But this all relates back to what I've kind of been trying to pass on is if you worry about the absolute perfection of something, you'll never get it done. You know, if somebody is coming up to you at a IPMS meeting or even a model club meeting with a set of dial calipers or digital calipers and they're measuring shit on your model, they really need to rethink the hobby. See, this is more what I want, which is holding in tone with the texture that I put on a bit better. And it's a bit lighter. Arnie, you cleared my wheels? Okay, anybody else? Alright. I just want to roll the chair back a bit so I can get a leg up. Get more comfy. That shaken up, but while we're doing that, get my extremely fine brush out and see what we can do to paint those frames a little bit. If I can get it open. Huzzah! Anyway. Yeah, I've kind of got a way of turning my brain off when it comes to stuff that sucks. Where once I do that, I'm able to do the thing that sucks. And it's done and over. And then I turn my brain back on and go, oh, when did I do that? I think it's called disassociation. And that's the way I try and format it for people when they're watching, because, like I said, I think there's certain people out there that they almost overcomplicate processes for content. And while they're making shorter format videos, you're looking at it going, why did you paint the whole model black when you're painting it sand? Now you're going to have to use more paint to go back to where you were. Like I was talking about on yesterday's video when we did the pre-shading and everything on this. If you have to prime, use gray. That way your appreciating will still pop like it's supposed to, and you still have your primer on. You watch all these how-to people on YouTube and other places that have like the little short stuff or anything, and it's like, it is fundamental in any kind of painting or coloring knowledge that you do not go with a solid black base if you're doing a lighter color. And even if you're not doing a lighter color, say you're doing brown, use a red-brown primer. And as long as I can get these painted so the light still shows through mostly, I'll be happy. But the other thing is, yeah, it's good to get these things on nice and square, but keep in mind, on the real vehicle, they're beat to shit too, you know? That's why I didn't care if this, like this foot guard, or not foot guard, this climbing cleat right here, if the camera wants to focus on it. Come on. It's the only thing in the way, bud. Focus. There. You see how banged up those are? How, they get like that on the real thing too, because all they are is thin metal with cleat on top. Does it look nicer straight? Sure. Does it convey a used vehicle? Not for me. Okay. Looks like we're probably not getting to the fuel truck today, but that's fine. I like making good progress on this. I don't know when my next stream exactly is going to be, simply because the schedule's not out yet for next week. But I'm estimating either Sunday or Monday, unless next week turns into like a Monday, Friday day off kind of thing. So we'll play it by ear, and I will keep people posted on the YouTube side of things in that area. Okay. Yeah, it looks like in most circumstances, a lot of the dust from the wheels, from driving anyway, accumulates right through here. Very little actually goes up on the back or through here. So I'm just going to dust here, probably the underside, and that'll get it ready for doing the oiled earth and things like that. But I am excited to get onto the fuel truck, especially with these bad boys to put on it. Okay, that's the other thing I wanted to check is the rims. And when in doubt, refer to your reference photos. Though they should be able to give you enough information to kind of educate what you want to do on the model. Like in most cases, even though there's dirt on the side of the tires, and even on the rim itself, the center of the tire isn't very dirty. It's more dusty than anything. Let's get you in here. And we're actually going to thin you out like crazy. for the amount I'm putting in anyway. Because the thinner it is, the finer it'll come out for this kind of application. At a distance. Yeah. Get behind the wheels first. Okay, what are you? You're being weird all of a sudden. Why are you being weird? One moment. I hate kits like that. Usually it's because they're recast. Okay. Now it looks like you're spraying straight. Alright. You notice how I'm kind of walking the dust up onto the panel? I'm not just going just straight up onto it. Because I kind of want to have it almost not be at the very top where it meets the hull line. Except for back there. And with the additional layer of the texture gel on there, it starts to begin to read like that. And just give a light dusting on the undersides here. That brings it there. Nice. Okay. Let's do the underside, then we can dust up the underside of the hull more fully. If you know what the quad is, like if it's a Kawasaki or a Honda Foreman or something like that, see if you can find actual pictures of it in use, which will help tell you where parts go. I had to do that on the DML did a Kawasaki diesel motorcycle kit for the Marines. And I had to actually go online and search up that particular motorcycle, find out what it looked like, because the instructions weren't too helpful. Okay. See how I allowed it to overspray onto the front a little bit? Carry that down the belly. Get that here. Because I want it to look dirty. I don't want it to look like it was bottomed out in a mud bog. And then we'll give the back just a very light dusting. Just to simulate how the dust and dirt swirls on it as it's driving down the road. Like, it almost doesn't show up on camera. Same thing here. Well, that's what I was saying. Kind of find out what it looked like to begin with without all of that. There we go. Just a little bit like that. There. And same thing on the turret, just a dusting to tie it all together. Now, I ran out of that, so we're going to have to mix up a little more. No big deal. That's why I like working in small batches like this. Give me a sec. My ankle just popped. Because now we're doing the same thing for the wheels. Really just a dusting. I'm not doing the tread just yet. There's some stuff I want to try there that's just a bit different. And let me get the model out of the way so I don't continue to dust on it and mess it up. So here they are dusted, as opposed to the non-dusted. Windex. I use Windex for most of my thinning. If something gets a little too sticky, I'll run some lacquer thinner through the airbrush and send it on its way. And then, yeah, since I use mostly Tamiya for my bases, Windex usually does the job. Windex can also rip off dried Tamiya paint. I know it sounds weird, but it's something in the ammonia nature that just rips apart acrylic Tamiya. Yeah, I want to try that out. So what I want to try on the wheels is most of the time you'll see that the tread, the inner part of the tread is darker earth color because of the dust and everything that settles in there, or the stuff that comes out, leaving just, grayed out rubber with dust on it. And meanwhile, the surface of the tread, since that's getting more exposure to the road or the dirt, will have a higher, lighter color. So I want to try something out on these to see if I can do that. Yeah, just practice makes perfect, a little bit at a time. I know some people prefer to use Vallejo's thinner. It might play better, have a better stretching agent for their paint, but that's the main reason I use Windex. Or it has to be ammonia based though; it can't be vinegar based. But any kind of ammonia based window cleaner works, mainly because the soaps in it help stretch the paint. They don't tear it like water or alcohol does. Alcohol especially breaks down the chemical balance of the paint and basically rips it apart, which is why if you thin Tamiya or others with it, it gets really chalky looking until you put a clear coat over it. And that's what you're seeing, is you're seeing the paint just doesn't have the chemical properties to stick anymore. Windex and other detergents like that actually kind of stretch that before its bonds break chemically, and it preserves the paint a little bit longer. You can still overdo it, but not as likely. But with that, it is my Sunday. There's stuff I do need to get ready for work tomorrow. It's been 3 hours and we've actually reached a decent little stopping point. We'll pick up this on the next stream day. There's a possibility I might be able to get on during the week. A lot of my days are early day schedules. So just keep an eye out for me. I'll post up on YouTube on the public post page if I'm going to be on that day or not. But I feel like this is coming out right. It's not too dirty that it's hiding the green. But I want to use the oiled earth on the lower hull just to kind of add something more in there. We'll probably sprinkle on some different stuff. Probably mix up some oils just to match this tone a bit more if I need to. But I'm happy with how it's going so far. But yeah, I think we'll call it a stream. And that way we can all get on with the rest of our days, because I know there's a lot of stuff I need to do. So thanks everybody for watching.